How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Just not so busy, but super busy.
It's a different kind of busy in this
It really
weird
is.
world. Somehow everything feels like it takes longer to get done because you have to communicate like through email and text and all of that.
Zoom and through Zoom, right?
Yeah, Zoom and Instagram Live. Well,
Exactly.
thanks for joining us today. This is really
Thanks for having.
exciting. Everyone's excited.
Oh, thanks for having me. Are you at the station?
I am at the station. They kind of locked it down to just on-air personalities and like one engineer in case we mess something up.
Oh,
So
nice.
for now, I come here and go home. Yeah, I'm pretty lucky. So where are you? You're at home?
I'm in my house. Yeah, where there's 3 children and no engineers.
I'm sure you probably could use one once in a while.
Oh, for sure.
It seems like you've been really taking full advantage of all of the quarantine activities, like starting a TikTok and
Definitely.
watching Tiger King.
Definitely. I was literally just, deep in a TikTok. What would we call it? Scouting locations, that kind of thing.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, like it's like, okay, so like sometimes I feel like if you give someone limited tools, they are forced to be creative in like new ways. And so like watching other people, not my stuff, but like watching other people's things, is so interesting. I like watch people and I'm like, these people are so creative and they're just like in their apartment or whatever. Oops.
Yeah, and you get into a hole where you're just scrolling for hours. Like, how did they do that?
Totally. I make it my mission to figure out how they did everything.
Yeah. What's neat about TikTok too for like music is now that there's like, that's a whole new way songs like take off now is because they were on TikTok, which is just a whole new world for us.
Totally. And I think it's like some people try to game it, but I don't know that it really works because I think that like kids kind of like what they like and songs happen or they don't happen. And, like Diplo's a buddy of mine and he had a song that happened like a year after he did it or whatever, which is cool and was not part of the plan,
It just it really is like if the hook is there and one kid creates a cool dance, it's off. It's going.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to talk about your song with Cheap Cuts, Check Your Phone, which is, I don't know the timeline for you, and maybe you can talk a little about it on like how that song was created, but it's like oddly timely with what's going on right now. And
yeah.
It's so bizarre.
Yeah. We made it like, so I'm always listening to songs. I heard this song from these guys about 6 months ago. And I've been trying to make like a version of people have heard this a bunch, but I'll come up with something new for it. Of Baz Luhrmann's Sunscreen, and there's a great song that everybody should check out if you get a chance. It like kind of like peaked in the '90s, but it's like very referential and gives good advice. It's kind of like the commencement speech you wish you had. What are crabs for? Just 'cause? I don't know. Okay, crabs are happening. And we came up with the song idea, and then we're thinking about in quarantine, like what ways can you be creative and what ways and we thought like maybe this is the time to put this song out, but it felt really weird. Like there was a bunch of like lines in it where I was like, oh my god, people like like are like, oh my god, you like thought of this stuff before, like before, like knew before it happened. Like I had no idea. I'm like, I have like 2 brain cells and like one of them is doing like Animal Crossing at all times. You know what I mean? So it's like, trust me, I'm not smart enough to have that.
Well, it's really cool. And it's kind of fun to watch that develop. I mean, that really is so much of our life right now. We just go from one app to the next app to the next app and start over again.
Totally. I think that like, it's interesting because we're just like a very contradictory people, right? Like, it's like, everybody, most of the time I don't want to leave my house ever. You know what I mean? Or like my friends don't want it. They're always in their house. But the minute you're told to like be in your house, you want to leave, like it's like, and I think the same thing about the phone. Like, like the phone is what gives me a lot of my anxiety. But at the same time, like a lot of like my jokes and like my friends that I, you know, like I have a friend that's stuck in Paris right now, you know, and the only way we talk is through the phone, you know, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, only two brain cells. Literally, I think I might be burning one up in this hat right now, so we might be going down to one.
The hat, and then like whatever's coming out of the phone, it's like a whole thing.
Totally. I mean, we're just so deep. We're in the, you know, like we're at the point in the quarantine where like I've gone past sweatpants, and now I'm trying to come up with creative outfits, not ones that are fashionable, but ones where I'm like, this is going to really shock them at the breakfast table. You know, like this is really going to shock my 5-year-old at the breakfast table.
I mean, that's the kind of, you got to keep it interesting. Definitely. I mean, I come here, but I only put makeup on today because we were doing this. So that's, you know, my win in life.
You look like you're still part of a functioning member of society. You know what I mean? You like, whereas I'm like definitely not fully functioning. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I'm trying. Yeah. You know what's interesting is like how you were saying.
Except that you get to drink a Bud Light during the day right now, or is it day? It's day there, right?
It's 4. It's like happy hour.
Totally.
You know,
Margaritaville happy hour. Time. Yeah, I like
it. What you were saying about releasing music during this, I think that's like such an interesting angle to it, because obviously none of us have ever been in this position before. And I wonder if it's like a better time to release a song because so many people aren't doing anything. I mean, we're like dying for new content all the time and new things to listen to. It almost seems like the ideal time to release music.
I think it's a great time to put out art that's a little bit like let art you'll be taking a chance on. Is that my hair? It is indeed my hair. We've been in quarantine a long time. Look at this. Or is it a wig? We'll never know. I think it's a good time to put out some weird art and some strange stuff, because people are going to give it a shot. I mean, like Check Your Phone is a strange little song, you know what I mean? And people are going to give stuff a shot, and if they like it, they like it. And if they don't, they just kind of like move on. And I think it's a time where people are open to like Tiger King and checking out things where you're just like, I don't know, would this like work in a normal time? But like, this is a time where you can do art that you don't really have to promote in a traditional avenue. You know what I mean? Like you're I don't know. Yeah, it's fun. Oh, you dig the hair? Thanks, Kathy Perry. Oh, thanks, guys.
I have some questions that they submitted, but I still wanted to talk just briefly about the Hell Omega tour, because I saw you posted. I know there's no way to know anything right now, really. And I think that your only Florida dates were Jacksonville and Miami, which we were really excited about. But just that tour in general, the teaming up of you three blew all of our minds like out of the water. And
oh, wow.
we have high hopes it'll still happen at one point. But like, how did that come together? Like who started the group chat?
Well, we've always wanted to do kind of like a Monsters of Rock tour and get into stadiums. And I think Green Day had as well. And, you know, like we all have the same management and kind of like talked about it a little bit. But it's honestly one of those tours where everybody has to do things a little bit different. You play a shorter set. You have to make your staging work with each other. And so like it really came down to like, you know, we got to meet and hang out with the Green Day guys when we helped put them in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or whatever. I don't know. Announced. I'm like losing my words. My one brain cell is like struggling right now. Inducted. Yeah. That's so bad. The one brain cell is like, you know, it's like when you're like, you know, you're playing your PlayStation and all of a sudden you hear the fan kick in and you're like, oh my God, this fan is like the only thing that's stopping this game stopping me from not losing this game right now.
Or when you had the Nintendo and you would take out the thing and like blow in it.
Do a little blow. Yeah. I probably should do a little blow.
Oh.
Are we allowed to say that here? We're on Instagram Live. We can say anything. Anyway. Yeah, so it just required. So we met them when we inducted them into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We got to hang out and listen. We grew up on Weezer and Green Day, so this is like a huge moment for us. And I think that it's something that we really wanted to we all really want to do. It's not like one of those tours where you're like, we've done this tour before. It's not that big of a deal. So it's going to happen one way or the other. It may not happen as planned, as most things this summer aren't really happening as planned, but we have, as soon as we get information, we put the information out immediately. So, as everyone saw, Europe was delayed today. And so we'll see. Things got PG-13.
Here for it.
Yeah.
I have this like dream moment that exists where we all come out while Weezer covers Africa and just sing together and cry. It's going to be great.
I would love that. Yeah. Rivers would love that, I bet.
All right. Well, let me get to some of the questions that I did the little box on Instagram. We got some entries. So from @PeachyStump. Have you had a Zoom band practice or tried to write music together while being socially distanced?
Yeah, man. As soon as we can get the IT guy to Patrick's house to show him how to get on Zoom, we'll do it. No, we have not done it yet. I don't know. Patrick asked me what Zoom was the other day when we and him were talking. So I think we may be a ways off.
It's tough, though. I mean, like you see all those funny videos of like people trying to do Easter and holidays with their families. Trying to get everybody on the same page with technology through this is a struggle. It's not.
We did a Zoom singing "Happy Birthday" to my 2-year-old the other day on her birthday, and she was the only one who was like, "Nah, I'm not doing Zoom." She just like turned and left. It was great. It was pretty funny.
Perfect. From NHL Emily, do you have a favorite headlining tour or show that felt like the turning point for Fall Out Boy that really sticks out in your memory?
I'll have to say, I'm going to say a couple. So I have to say the show that we played at Wrigley Field, it was just like a really big moment for us and our hometown. And we were just all in this moment together for, like an hour and a half or 2 hours. And that was pretty amazing. And then another one I would say is our first show back. It was like this little tiny show, but we had taken a break for 3 years, and when we came back, we just weren't really sure what people's reaction would be. So I think that was a big moment because we just didn't know if anyone would care. And then tour-wise, I think my favorite, like not recent tour, but like tour in the last couple of years was the one we did with Wiz Khalifa. Just because it was just such a like, I don't know, it was like an odd pairing that ended up, to me ended up working,
Yeah. I like those fun, like, collaborations like that. I think that music kind of is going that way anyway, where we like what we like, and there's no genre or just you're specifically an emo kid anymore. And I think that it's really cool when you can go see a show and experience that. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that people necessarily listen to music and watch movies and art, like, based on, like, I can only like this one kind. So, like, if I have something else, I think people... like when it works together and the parts kind of make the whole feel a little bit bigger, I think can be great. I mean, for me, it is, at least like when I'm at a festival or something, I love the opportunity to see different genres.
Definitely. And you're going to probably really always remember your first show when all this is over. I can't imagine how every band's going to feel.
I think so. And for all of us, you know what I mean? Like when we have some semblance of normalcy and you can appreciate those moments in life. And I think like live music and art and, the first time I could sit in a movie theater and that stuff, like I'll have a new take on it, I think, and I hope I appreciate it. I know in this moment right now, I know I would.
Definitely. We all will for sure. Kaylee asks, what new hobbies have you been doing in quarantine that you never did before?
Oh man. So I've been filming a lot of videos. I've been playing a lot of piano. I haven't played piano in a long time, so I've been playing a lot of piano. I started cleaning my garage out, but I kind of like have stopped doing that a bunch of times.
Sounds like work.
Which is kind of funny. What else have I done? I know I've done some stuff. I spent about 2 hours in the rain trying to catch a giant fish in Animal Crossing yesterday, and that just did not happen. And I mean, I've been like drawing some. just like things where they've been doing guided mantra meditation, just like stuff that takes my mind and makes it. I have like a mind that never stops really, and so I try to find like ways to make the little brain cells that are just relay racing around my brain just calm down a little bit.
Yeah,
so I've been playing a lot of piano.
Isn't an ideal environment for that. All right, we got two more. Tyler asked, how do you create the perfect set list when you have such a big catalog of great songs?
I mean, I think here's the truth. If you talk to anyone who's, watches bands, like for me, Metallica, or like bands that have been around for a long time, it's tough to craft a perfect set list because everybody has different favorites, different songs where you're like, that one is like a stinker. And when you're playing a show, you want the show to kind of like breathe and ebb and flow, and then at the same time you want to play some stuff for everybody and everybody's different entry points. And for us it's really hard because for a lot of the bigger shows we kind of set the visuals to the tracks and a lot goes into it, so swapping things out really quickly doesn't always work, and sometimes we try it and it doesn't work really well. But yeah, I mean, we try to create a set that, if you come to the show and you're a casual fan, or if you come to the show and you've been a diehard fan, it's going to work for both, and I don't think we've ever super succeeded, but we try our best.
Oh, every show is awesome. We know that. I think you headline 97X Next Big Thing here in 2014. So
I do remember. Was it an outdoor show?
It was in a Vanoy Park in St. Pete.
Yeah, I wonder who else played.
I don't have the lineup. I did have the lineup up, but
okay. I remember two Florida radio shows. One was the first time we met Weezer, and the other one I almost fell off the stage. And I know it's one of those two shows, so I'm just trying to figure out which one it was.
I don't think Weezer was there because I don't think they played our show before. So
okay, so it was the one where I think I almost fell off the stage. I was like getting hit with a bunch of strobe lights, and I was like, I'm just going to walk back here and get some water, and I walked the wrong direction.
Oh, well, I'm sure no one noticed. It's fine.
Alt J played. Oh, sick. I'm going to go back in time and catch their set.
Last question comes from Victoria, and that is, what's the first thing you'll do when everything opens back up?
Oh, man. I think about this all the time. I mean, I think the first thing I'll do is just go down and hang out at like my local coffee shop. Yeah, I mean, I just want to go do normal stuff. I want to go people watch, you know what I mean? I just want to like be out in it, you know what I mean? In the mix. And I think that that's something that like I definitely took for granted. You know what I mean? I think it's definitely something. Hey, Meg. I think it's something that a lot of us probably took for granted, and just the normal stuff, just being like a human and sharing the planet with like other humans, and whatever is pretty cool.
It is funny, the things like that are so simple that you miss. Like I was telling somebody, like I just want to go walk through Target and look at random stuff and not feel like I'm need to suit up and wear a mask. I just miss buying things I don't need. TJ Maxx.
Totally.
Yeah. And of course shows. I mean, shows are like such a huge part of our radio station, and that not being able to think about that right now is like crazy. I mean, just like you guys. So
yeah, when it comes back, I think we'll all have a new level of appreciation. So
it'd be the biggest mosh pit ever in history. Well, thank you, Pete, for joining us. This was so fun, and I'm so glad to meet you, by the way. I don't think we've ever got to chat before, so this was really great, and I'm sure everyone loved it. So, and
maybe we'll meet in IRL someday when we're back in Florida.
Maybe cool. At another 97X show.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much again, Pete. Stay safe. Awesome. Stay healthy.
Bye. You too. Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me.